Steve, let me start with you. Tell us a little bit more about this policy support and what are we expecting from the PBOC today?
Yeah, it's a different environment than the later half of 2021 when there was so much policy tightening, of course, in the property sector that really hammered, of course, a lot of those local developers. But this is a break, of course, to try and stimulate some demand in the property space that has been hammered not only by those restrictions in property, but obviously by the lockdowns in Shanghai and the other areas of restricted movement and commerce in China. So the PBOC basically easing mortgage rates for first-time home buyers to support the property market as Shanghai, by the way, prepares to sort of open up shops and get some commerce going later this week. So it's a pivotal week there. The PBOC cutting the lower bound range of mortgage interest rates Sunday by 20 basis points. So quite a significant move there to try and stimulate demand. It will also, by the way, in about an hour's time, set the MLF rate, the medium-term lending facility, and some economists surveyed by Bloomberg expect a modest reduction. And again, this slump in loan growth that we saw Friday was much bigger than expected, about half of what was expected. And according to economists, especially at Bloomberg Economics, essentially saying this credit slump that we saw Friday in the data has reflected as well in the mortgage, lack of pickup there, could make a case for further easing at the PBOC. In fact, 9 of 14 economists surveyed by Bloomberg News expect the benchmark one-year loan prime rate will be cut this week.
And Yvonne, it comes as Sunak makes payments on local bonds after defaulting on that dollar note. Does this kind of change investor sentiment or confidence at all?
Not quite, because, I mean, this is what we're hearing from at least two note holders, is that local bond payment of about $59 million was made. But the timing has been interesting because it was a day after they defaulted on their dollar bond. So it is a sense and a sign that perhaps cash is first going to domestic creditors and adds to this growing divergence that, in fact, how global investors are treated are very different to their domestic peers. And this is the first principal payment that we've seen under an 18-month extension that was agreed to by these note holders. And they still have many other payments coming up as well. And this year, as you see, just broadly, even as this clampdown on the property market has been going on, and among these borrowers, and you've seen fresh wave of defaults. When it comes to domestic creditors, they've actually been receiving payments and even getting sweetened offers on these extension proposals. On the flip side of that, most of the Chinese defaults that we have seen were offshore debt, according to some of the data that we have been crunching up as well, which is a pretty sharp reversal from what we've seen from previous years and leaving overseas creditors with billions of losses.
And the issue is that the fear is that this could be systemic, right? Other property developers, Yvonne, also struggling.
Yeah, you see more signs of stress, more of these sort of extension exercises going on. Taixing reporting that Logan Group is now in talks to extend their maturities of their offshore debt by 4 to 7 years. They said that if bondholders do not approve of this plan, that they will go through some sort of debt restructuring. But according to the local media there, the offshore bond amount is, quote, hundreds of millions of dollars. So we'll see how that plays out. But this is after on Friday, Logan announced that EY, their auditor, was resigning after the request from the board members because the two sides were not able to agree on a suitable timetable to release those 2021 results, which were delayed due to COVID. And they now have assigned a new auditor, Unitax Prism, as their new undertaking this whole ordeal. But keep in mind, this is a bad sign, right? When the auditor quits, and we are reaching, or we have actually reached that deadline for those that had already missed their audited results and releasing them on March 31st. That deadline to release now was this weekend. So and a lot of these are property firms as well. So we're waiting to hear. Maybe we'll see a little more results coming through here. But as of now, Logan, the stock, suspended since Thursday.